Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the Turner Digest. My name is Alex, otherwise known as For the Z, and we'll start off with our disclaimer. I'm not a financial or tax advisor. This is not financial or tax advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please enjoy. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Turner Digest. If you want to support, starting at as little as $1, you can get that waived if you use certain credit cards. There's a referral page. There should be some links there to some accounts that I have, and you're interested in some links for referrals, head over there. If you liked the intro music that's performed by my brother's band Sweaty Lemon, there's information on them on the show notes, which is on our companion site and linked down below. And as always, shout out to Kung Fuer and Cleed for being members of the Patreon at the Cleed tier. You'll be shout out every episode. And if you do join the Patreon, you'll be shout out when you do join. And we had some new members, including Ashwini, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Joseph, Traveling Well, and Two-Tone. So welcome to the four of you. This week's pretty light. I was contemplating just skipping this week, but I'm going to be traveling for a little bit for the next couple weeks, so I'm not going to post any new updates until then, after this episode. So I wanted to get something out before I head off. So we'll jump into this one. Apologies, it might be a little abbreviated. There's just not too much to cover. So we'll start off with, there's a Service Credit Union $200 or $500 sign-up bonus. For those offers, the requirements are receive a $200 bonus when you receive a direct deposit of at least $500 each month for 90 days, or receive a $500 bonus when receiving a direct deposit of at least $1,500 each month for 90 days. Now, I did this back when it was a $100 bonus, so this new one's definitely worth it. I think it's their share account, like the standard savings account that you have to open up with these credit unions, earns 5% interest on up to $500. So I still have the account. It's kind of just kicking around, making just little interest. But my data points for when I got this bonus was I opened the account on February 25th of 2022. Then you needed to do Amazon reload, or then you needed to do debit card transactions. So I did 10 50-cent Amazon reloads. Then I contacted support, and they said I have to wait 2 months before getting the bonus. I contacted support, told me that they would post the reward. They didn't post it for 4 days. I contacted them again, and then they finally credited it. So this is a little bit different. I had to do debit card reloads or debit card transactions, and it seems like they had maybe a difficult time paying out, but they did eventually pay out. I didn't have to file a CFPB or anything. Speaking of CFPB, I'll give an update on my Ness data point. I did want to point out that in last episode, thank you, Cleed, for putting this out. When I was referencing the bank that issued the Ness card, I said the Bank of Missouri, but it's actually the Bank of Omaha. I had FNBO in my mind, which is First National Bank of Omaha, which is the bank that issues the Ducks Unlimited card that I have, as well as the Evergreen card. But I just had those two in my mind. I don't know why I conflated them, but it's actually the Bank of Missouri. I think I actually just said it backwards again. The Bank of Missouri is the ones that issue the Ness card. And my CFPB complaint was deferred to the FDIC, and I went into I didn't know FDIC had a portal. I think I did actually, because when I originally issued my Lily Bank account CFPB complaint, it went to FDIC, so I made an account there. And I just logged in recently, and there's no updates there on my CFPB complaint or my now FDIC complaint. They say that it could take up to 2 months, and looking at my old report, it looks like it took about 2 months for them to get me a response. I did notice that in my FDIC complaint, since I ported it over, it didn't come with my screenshots that I initially attached to my CFPB complaint, so I went through and added those again. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but I uploaded those there just in case. So no update just yet, but I figured I'd call that out just in case if y'all were wondering if there were any changes. Next, Deductive Credit is reporting that American Express Business Platinum benefit is expiring at, or at least showing an expiration date of the end of this year, December 31st of 2024. American Express did issue a comment on this, which was brought to us by Dan's Deals. They said, "We are committed to making sure there is significant, well-rounded value on our Business Platinum card. If you are seeking this expiration, you are seeing this expiration date because we are uncertain if these statement credit benefits with these merchant partners will be available after this date, as we continually evaluate our offerings. If if or when any of these benefits change, we will notify card members in advance. Sorry, I had a horrible time reading that. In addition to this, Dr. Credit also made a post, and I saw in a discussion thread somewhere. Wow, I really can't speak. During American Express's earnings call, they shared that they plan on updating about 40 credit cards this year globally. And it sounds like American Express does this pretty frequently of refreshing their credit products. And according to Doctor of Credit, American Express hinted that they want to refresh their charge cards every 3 to 4 years. And the last times the Platinum and Go cards had a major overhaul was about 3 or 4 years ago. So this coincides very well with these credits ending at the end of 2024. So it sounds like we're probably going to see some new offerings from them coming here soon. So if you're interested in the current offering, I don't know if you'll be grandfathered in or if your cards automatically get the new benefits. I think it would get the new benefits. It's saying that the current card holders have an ending date of the end of this year for certain credits. So just keep that in mind. And I personally think that American Express, the credit card industry as a whole has kind of been stagnant. I haven't noticed too much of things going on. I mean, everyone has a new little 5% rotating card now, or a 5% top spend category card, which is like the most recent innovation I've seen in the industry. So we'll see if anything comes in the coming months or years. I have also noticed that some crazy sign-up bonuses have kind of dried up. So we'll see if 2024 has any change in that. All right, next, I had a little bit of update on my Pixel 8 Pro that I sold a little while back here. So a little while ago, I took advantage of a 40% off for Play Gold Plus members Google Store promotion that I was offered from Google for a Pixel 8 Pro. And I detailed this in a post a little while ago. Let me see what episode it was. Looking back, it was in episode 23. So if you want to read more about that, head over there. But I shared on the Patreon as well as the show notes that I wound up getting the phone for $167.50 pending a sale of the device on Swappa. And I had at the time estimated myself receiving about $400 for that. And I did receive almost $400. I actually got, I think it was $385, like around $380. But after fees and shipping, the phone actually netted me $325, which if I look back at what the trade-in was offering, they were offering $325. So it would have been just a lot easier for me and not have to worry about, what is this, a month and a half of headache of listing it on Swappa, taking pictures, talking to people who are interested in the device, lowering the price slowly and slowly until someone's interested, and finally shipping the device. And now the shipment said it was estimated to get there on the 25th, and it's now the 28th time of recording. So USPS just is having a difficult time getting it there for some reason. I did buy insurance for $400 and I sold the device for $380. So if it does get lost in the post, I can just issue the person who purchased the phone the credit for the insurance. But it definitely would have been a lot easier if I had just sold it to the trade-in. But after all, instead of getting the device for $167.50, I wound up getting the device for $242.52. And all of the cashback portals did track. So I did get the Capital One Shopping, which was about $27. I did get just the credit card cash back, and I did get my Google One credits for almost $70. So all in all, a Pixel 8 for $242 is pretty great. Although I am kind of bored of the device. I'm like reminiscing on my days of having the LG Wing. If you're not familiar with that, look it up. It was probably the most fun I've had with a phone for like 6 months. I used to be, not used to, but I am a big geek and tech nerd sort of. So any kind of interesting hardware is super fun. But the software is also really important to me. And LG software on that was god awful. So I kind of just stick with Pixel devices now because I like the software. But I think my next phone will be foldable just because I'm kind of sick of the slab phones. Anyway, enough about phones. I just want to give an update on that the 167 I quoted is not exactly accurate. I paid an extra $80 for the device. All right, next, Target has a Circle offer. If for those who have a red card, you can get an extra 5% on your purchases until April 27th. So there's no coupon required, but you have to go to your Target Circle and like clip the coupon or just like activate the offer. It's super easy. Just go into your Target account, go to Target Circle, and just click the 5% extra. It comes out to 9.75%, I think. And it's because it's an extra 5% off. I don't really get why that is. I think it's because of tax. Oh, no, because you get 5% off of the price that's already 5%. So you lose out on 0.25%. But you do also not get cash back on tax with Target Red Cards. So just keep that in mind. But if you have some purchases coming up with Target, might as well use that. I know a lot of us, including myself, does purchase big Target gift cards during their 5% off sale, which nets me, I think it's about 10% off at Target. For some reason, I feel like it's 15%, but I don't think that's right. So this would be about equal to my gift cards. So I would probably use my Target Red Card until this offer's done and then go back to using my gift cards. Also, there's some exclusions, so keep them in mind. Next, there was so I've subscribed to Miles Earn and Burn, which if you like kind of just reading on the industry space, it's kind of similar to this podcast, but they report on, I guess, more, not niche, but maybe niche, even more advanced topics than this. Like they discuss American Express Platinum data points or Marriott credit cards and points avenues, stuff like that. But I kind of just like to read it and keep a pulse on the industry. And one of the recent newsletters shared a link to an old post that they posted back in August 12th of 2022. And I thought it was a pretty fun read. They were talking about a promotion that was going on from US Bank where they partnered to offer a $5,000 in fee-free payments to new accounts when using a U.S. Bank credit card through the end of the year, which doesn't sound that great, but what they were intending to do was to implement, on the software side of things, look for a U.S. Bank credit card BIN. So if you're not familiar, credit cards have BIN numbers, so each card has a similar BIN number with its co-cards. So like, I've used American Express Platinum a couple of times, but like American Express Platinum cards all have the same bins, which is the first, I think it's like the first couple digits on the card number. So you can parse that out and figure out what brand of card you have, for lack of a better term. So what the software development had to do was look for these bin numbers, add up all the payments made with those bin numbers, and don't charge fees if you've charged less than $5,000. What they inadvertently did was look for U.S. Bank credit cards. Instead of not charging fees when the card is a U.S. Bank BIN, they didn't charge fees unless the card was a U.S. Bank BIN. So they instead excluded U.S. Bank cards from earning any. They excluded U.S. Bank cards from being fee-free, but allowed any other card, as long as you charge $5,000 or less for that BIN, to be fee-free. And people went into the dev tools and could even see the counter in the website's like requests in the network tab. If you want to read more about it, it's super interesting. And they don't really go much into it, but I just thought that was really interesting that they made such a pretty large mistake, honestly. The post reports that on September 22nd, 2021, they found the bug and fixed it, but I don't know when the bug was originally discovered and how long this manipulation was available for. But that definitely could have cost US Bank the pretty penny if some turners really went heavy on that. Next, CFPB, I think President Biden has been pushing for like getting rid of junk fees, and from that, CFPB has made some changes throughout the past couple months, at least, or past couple years, to reducing some of these late fees. And CFPB just came out with an additional proposed rule to reduce more junk fees. And there's a long post, you can read it, but I think the most important part I've highlighted here, I'm going to read out. The CFPB is also proposing to limit the long-standing exemption to overdraft practices that are offered as a convenience rather than as a profit driver. The proposed rule would allow financial institutions to charge a fee in line with their costs or in accordance with established benchmarks. The CFPB has proposed benchmarks of $3, $6, $7, or $14 and is seeking comment on the appropriate amount. And this is specifically for overdraft fees for debit cards. And the post kind of goes into the details of what this was originally for. This is mainly for like checks where you would send a check out, you really wouldn't know what's in the account, and you would take a while for the check to get through, and it would bounce, and they give you an overdraft charge of like $35 or something. But they've moved that to debit cards as well, and some data points here that they've mentioned is these institutions typically charge $35 for an overdraft loan, even though the majority of customers' debit card overloads are for less than $26 and are repaid within 3 days. So you're charging customers $35 when on average they're only owing you $25, and you get the money in 3 days. CFPB is also suggesting banks offer overdraft protection, which is often when you're signing up, since I've signed up for so many bank accounts because of sign-up bonuses, I always opt out because often these overdraft protections come with a hard pull on your credit because they're opening up a line of credit for you technically when you don't pay back your overdraft, or when you overdraft and you now have a negative balance, they issue you a credit, or like a loan in lieu of you paying, and just loan it out to you until you make the balance even. And I'm not a fan of that as an option. I don't think it's very useful. I don't think people should get into the habit of overdrafting on things. I mean, I think the U.S. is already pretty terrible at money management. I think that just needs to be addressed as a whole. So I don't think anyone should really be using this, but I can see it would be useful for some. I'm kind of just rambling on this topic. Let's move on. All right. Next, there is I posted this in the Patreon, but there is if you're familiar with Upgrade Rewards, they're doing a $200 referral bonus. It's targeted, and I got myself into a bit of trouble, not totally, but we'll go into it here. Of course, there's another saga this week, but the bonus is specifically for, let me see if I can find a working $200 link here. Once you sign up for Rewards Checking Plus and direct deposit at least $1,000 in 45 days, both you and your referrer will receive a $200 bonus. Super easy. There's a link to, I have my link shared down below, but that's an old link and it's not showing the $200, and this is where I kind of got myself in trouble. It's not totally clear to me if these old links that are showing that are not active currently will give you the $200 bonus. So when you click my older link, it says the promotion that you clicked on is no longer available. Please see below for the active promotion program. I don't know if that means if you then click to open the account down below that, because right below it says welcome, earn $200. Once you sign up, both you and your friend will receive $200. So I don't know why they would be telling you about a referral program that you clicked for a link through that wouldn't be available to you. I know that it says that the one that you clicked on is inactive, but it's saying that there is an active program going on, and you click the link, so it sounds like to me it's associated with this referral link. But if you want to play it safe, there's a Dr. Credit post that's dedicated to just $200 targeted links for reward checking. So if you don't have an Upgrade account, they also offer 1% cash back on certain purchases, which is very useful for debit cards. But where I got myself into trouble is there was discussions in the comments of the original post on whether the old links would work or not. When Dr. Credit originally shared this, I stated that I was seeing the little banner at the top of my post of my link that says, as I said, this promotion you checked is no longer available. Please see below for the active program. And there was some deliberation in the comments whether this would work or not. And then people realize that it's targeted, and some people are just seeing the $200 link for their link, because my active link, I think, is showing like $100. So then Dr. Credit went, they don't normally like to make referral threads because people just share their links, obviously, and just rake in the benefits. But they wound up posting one anyway. And when they originally posted the referral thread, the topic said, Upgrade checking $200 / $50 referrals. And it just said, do not thread comments, do not add words to the comment other than the referral link, never post twice. Be sure to verify the link that is showing is the offer you want to sign up for. So I just thought I'd toss my new referral link in there. It wasn't the 200, but the post didn't say anything about not sharing it unless you had 200. It does now state that, I think, deliberately because of me. And they've since removed my comment, but I then got called out in the original thread of Doctor of Credit where a user added me and kind of put me on blast and added the not director, but the writer at Doctor of Credit, Chuck, to say that I shared a link that was under $200. And then we had a bit of a back and forth, and I wasn't really pleased with the way that user was kind of attacking me here. I get that I was sharing a link that wasn't the highest referral offer, but I personally believe that I wasn't doing anything wrong. There was no rules against it. I just like to share my links wherever I can, because if someone wants to use it, they can. I mean, when you click the link, you can clearly see what the offer is. It's not like I'm trying to bait and switch you. I mean, I guess some people could see how that could be considered a bait and switch, but I really don't think so. I said it in one of my comments, but this is Dr. Credit. People know how to read terms. When you click a link and it doesn't say 200, you know it's not 200. You could pick another one, or if you want to use one that's less than 200, don't know why you would, but there you go. I also like to post, sorry, I hit the mic stand there. I also like to post my links in these threads so I can keep a history of my older links. That's obviously not the best way to keep your older links. I should probably have like a Google Docs somewhere that has my older links, but I often just go to the Dr. Credit comments and search for my name, and if I shared something there, I can grab a link from there. But the user did eventually come back and apologize for kind of putting me on blast, and I appreciated that. I don't want to put them on blast. I think they were fine. They apologized, and we're all cool. And I said at the end that I'll probably refrain from sharing lower sign-up bonus, lower referral links in the future, but I'm very transparent, and if you're listening to this, you've listened to me, I don't know for how long at this point, but this is all public. It's all on a public forum, so if you want to go ahead and read it, by all means, go ahead. There's no hate meant for anybody. I just thought it was kind of interesting that this whole thing went down based on this, and then I think that the only share your link if it's for $200 bullet was explicitly added for me, which was kind of funny. All right. Next, I just wanted to say that I think I shared in the last episode that I bought some Europe flights through Capital One Portal, and to my happiness, I received an email stating that I was receiving a $50 credit back, and one of the flights dropped, I think, like $60. And if on Capital One shopping, or Capital One travel, if you purchase when they think the price is low, they will give you price protection up to $50, and it's automatically tracked. So the price went down, they give me a $50 credit. That comes in the form of a travel credit to be used on the portal. And I think it's good for a year, but I plan on traveling soon, so I will find easy use in that. And I would not get that anywhere else, and I wouldn't have manually tracked it myself, so it's a great benefit. It just worked really nice. It was seamless. I got an email saying it was just automatically applied, and I was very happy to see it. All right, next. This kind of tickled my fancy. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of a bit of a nerd and a techie. Ooh, excuse me. That was my flip-flop scraping on the ground. And like I said this plenty of times, I don't like to edit things, so sorry, you're just going to hear that terrible noise. But the cross of credit cards and techie has come out in this post. So someone posted on our Apple on Reddit that today I learned if you add too many NFC cards to your iPhone, the Secure Enclave chip can run out of storage. And I learned from reading through the threads that this interface does not show up unless you just have a full secure Enclave chip on the card or on your phone, but it'll show you how you've used the space on your Secure Enclave chip. It doesn't tell you how many like megabytes or how much space is actually used, it just gives you a percentage. And for this user, Access ID and public transport was taking up 30%, Felica was taking up 26%, and then some cards were taking up like teens of percents, which I thought was super interesting. There used to be a limit. I think it was like 10 cards for adding to Apple Wallet, but now it's as many as the chip will allow you to add. And I just thought it was interesting that this is something the UI never shows, but it'll show if you're reaching your chip's maximum capacity. And it makes sense because it has to be stored locally, and I believe that chip is like more encrypted than the rest of the storage of the devices because you're storing not proprietary, but private customer information. So it makes sense. But I just saw that and I thought it was very relevant, especially because I have my credit card design page where I heavily use Apple Wallet. Next, this was a Lightning deal, which has since expired. So I shared it on the Patreon, but it's no longer available. Expired. But there was a USB-C dock that was going on sale for $20 that also does power delivery at 100 watts. And someone did a pretty good write-up on Reddit detailing why this is actually like a decent deal. And it's mainly because this dock comes with its own chip internally to process the video feeds. And if you have something like an M1 Mac, or I think an M2 Mac too, which I'm one of those users that has an M1 Mac, they don't support, I think it's like more than 2 DisplayPort displays at once at like high resolution, but the dock allows you to support it. So you can just plug it into the dock and the dock can go to a bunch of displays. And since the dock is powered, it can send enough, the Mac can pass through enough bandwidth to display the screens. But it's expired now, so sorry. But if you're interested in something like that, that's something that does get shared in the Patreon. So there's a little motivator for you if you feel like supporting. All right. Next, there were some Google settlement payments that went out. So there was a Google class action lawsuit for, I think, them sharing information against customers. Not wills sounds like a weird term. I guess against customers will from like 2008, like 2013. If you ever made a search on Google, you were eligible. And I guess I signed up at some point and I received a $7.70 debit card. And those are so annoying to use because I can't like add it to my Apple Wallet because it's only $7.70. So I have to go through the trouble of adding the card to my Amazon and then reloading my Amazon gift card balance just so I can wipe the card. But I did go and do that. So it's nice to get $7.70 for free, but it's just kind of a pain. And the settlement's already paid out, so unfortunately you can't do it, but I was just reporting that it did happen. Only a couple more here. There were a couple updates shared by Built. Built's receiving more funding, and what I thought was most interesting in that was there was a little line in there that says, additionally, Built plans to venture into mortgage payment rewards. And if that happens, that'd be super useful. So those customers that have a Built card, if they do plan on using the same card to be for renting rewards and for mortgage rewards, that would be really useful for customers who switched from renting and hopefully at some point will be able to own something. Next, Built started to let you pay for your rent with another credit card within their portal. You get 250 Built points, and you get to pay with an external credit card that's not a Built card. They just charge a 3% fee. So if you're having a hard time meeting some minimum spend, you can go that way. And additionally, Built announced for Built Rent Day, which is coming February 1st, their partner promotion for that is 75 to 150% bonus to Aeroplan, depending on your Built status. I don't have Built, but I figured some people might find that interesting or useful. Next, open up a new bank account mainly for credit card funding. So I shared last episode that I opened up an account with Visions Credit Union, and they did $2,500 worth of credit card funding. And I didn't think to use my new Redstone Federal Credit Union Visa Signature card to meet my $3,000 sign-up bonus for that. But I opened up a KeyPoint account, which was originally stated on Doctor of Credit to only be available in California. But when you go through the sign-up to make the account, they let you pick FFA, and you can open it up for free, actually. It's normally a $7 fee, which I've actually done, I think, to join Visions Credit Union. But KeyPoint will pay it on your behalf, so you can sign up for free, and they do $2,500 worth of credit card funding. Someone in the Doctor of Credit comments said that you can do $1,200 credit card funding, which I don't know, maybe. It said the limit was 2.5, but if you try and manually type in a higher number, maybe it lets you. And then people in the comments were also saying to delete this, don't say this, let people find it on their own. Don't really know what that's about, but feel free to poke around and see what's going on. Maybe you can open multiple accounts, and each account you can fund $2,500 for, and you can open like a CD and a checking account and a savings account and some other account. But take a look there. There's also a sign-up bonus for it. There's a referral as well, but I think if you want to reach out to me, churnersdigest@gmail.com, we can correspond and do a referral, but I don't think it's any different than the regular sign-up bonus. The regular sign-up bonus is direct deposit $1,000 a month and receive $50 each month for 6 months for a total of $300. So kind of a pain, but I'm easy to change my real direct deposit, and I'll just withdraw the funds anyway. So there you go. And then there is a sign-up bonus for a California-only credit union. This one's actually California-only, unlike KeyPoint. And there's some restrictions about where you can be within California. You have to currently live or work in Sonoma, Lake, Marin, Napa, Mendocino, San Francisco, Solano, or Contra Costa counties. The requirements are to use the promo code 250 for me and have at least $500 in qualifying direct deposits within 90 days of account opening. Seems pretty easy. Checking account's free. Looks like there's $500 credit card funding. And then finally, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to be traveling for the next 2 weeks. I leave tomorrow to go to the D.C., larger Virginia area, and then the week following, I'm getting my car going to the mechanic, as well as I'm going to Boise for a ski trip. So I will have some updates coming up soon with just some travel episodes, as well as my 2023 spend analysis will finally be done, hopefully. Shockingly, if you had to guess, let me go look. Spending 2023. I have, how many here? 25 cards here with issuers spanning from Bank of America, Discover, Citi, Chase, Cardless, H. Bradley, RIP, FNBO, Workers Credit Union, which is Elon, which owns U.S. Bank, Capital One, Juno, that didn't really count, Synchrony, they also don't really count. So of those first couples, Bank of America, Discover, Citi, Chase, FNBO, Elon, Capital One, they all issue end of year statements for your year spend and review. It'll tell you what categories you spent on as a PDF, and it'll tell you your total spending, or that'll allow you to download all your transactions via a Excel spreadsheet, and then I can plug them into my spreadsheet here much easier, and I don't have to manually do it. Guess which of those banks has yet to issue me, the only one left that has yet to issue me a end of year statement. If your guess was Capital One, I would be shocked, and I would tell you, congratulations, you won nothing. But that is the one that has still not sent me anything. Last year, they were the latest one to send it. It came January 24th. Same with Bank of America. Bank of America's also came January 24th. Yes, this year, Bank of America, I think, issued me 2 on January 4th, and I have 5 accounts with them. And then just yesterday issued me the other 3. But my Capital One Venture X card has still not issued me my 2023 year spend report. So I'm waiting on that to do a full review of my spending in 2023. As a sneak peek, my spend is almost the same as 2022. My rent went up a little bit. My overall sign-up bonuses, I think, went up a little bit just for credit cards. I didn't do my bank account spend, my bank account bonuses. And then I'll also go through the totals individually, but it's hard to do now until VentureX comes in. There's got to be, looking at these cards, I'm probably missing at least $5,000 worth of spend from that card. So as soon as that gets generated, I will update my spreadsheet and then share. But as I said, I'll be gone for a couple weeks. Hopefully I don't fly any Boeing flights, and enjoy the rest of your January, and I'll see you in February. Thanks, y'all.